Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the TLC Podcast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co host, Mike. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Busy, another busy week of pro wrestling.
That it is.
Um, Full disclosure, I was not able to watch last night's NXT yet. I've had some running around to do today after work because I just figured it would be easier for me to do it today than try to do it tomorrow when I'll be just glued to a chair at somewhere in the Philadelphia area watching college basketball.
There you go.
But so I haven't watched NXT. I did hear about the announcement that I guess Roxanne Perez is going to have to relinquish the women's championship.
Yeah, I didn't watch NXT either. I was actually at the Flyers game last night.
Oh, nice.
So I did hear that Roxanne Perez is going to relinquish the title. I've not seen it either, and so it looks like there's two ladder matches for Stand and Deliver.
Right. The women's match, and what's the other ladder match?
The traditional
the North American. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That's the tradition at Stand to Deliver. We have a ladder match for the North American Championship.
Yeah, it's a great tradition they have.
Yeah, I wonder if they've always planned it that way, or if it was just one of those things where okay, we did it a couple times, and now it's like, all right, we do it every year.
I think it was because the first time they crowned the North American champion went so well, that ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it just kind of morphed into it.
I think you're right. I think that's probably that makes sense anyway.
Yeah.
It's funny. So I know I messaged you about my road to WrestleMania and how Saturday night I decided I would just power through in one sitting and watch WrestleMania 27.
Right.
And I wondered with some rum and coke filled glasses if I would have the same thoughts that I had the first time watching. And it actually occurred to me, again, full disclosure, I haven't completed the road to WrestleMania in several years. In fact, I think it's probably been about a decade since I finished one.
Wow.
And so I really think the last time that I don't think I've rewatched WrestleMania 27 since the first time I watched it.
Really?
And I was really crazy hypercritical of it.
Right.
And number one, first thing that stood out to me was the no title changes.
Yes.
And, they only had, they really only had two title matches that night.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird card.
Yeah, I think it was just the world title match and the WWE Championship match. I think those were the only two title matches.
Yeah, because Edge defeated Del Rio.
Right.
And then we had the Cena. Yeah, because I don't remember the tag titles being defended.
No, the tag titles, I believe that might have been the night that was the Colognes crowned the Unified Tag Team Champions? No, that was a couple of years prior.
Right, that might have been 24, 25 during the pre-show.
Yeah, I think it was 25 during the pre-show.
I remember one of those years had to be 23 or 22. Ric Flair was actually not even on the main card, and he was on the pre-show in a tag match.
Right. It might have been with him and Carlito. Yes, I remember watching this. Him and Carlito were a team.
One of the DVDs. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and it's funny because I just watched it the other night, and I can't even think of any other championship matches.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird WrestleMania.
It really was. The JR and Michael Cole, the match itself, it was an absolute dumpster fire as far as techniques.
Yeah.
If you're just looking for bell to bell action, but the antics and histrionics of the whole show, like that match may have been the most entertaining.
Right, yeah. And I feel bad. That was Jerry Lawler's WrestleMania match that he had.
Yes.
Seriously, they really blew 27.
Yeah, they really did.
Because Lawler was feuding with The Miz before that.
Right.
And there was no reason why not to have Lawler beat The Miz for the WWE title a month or two beforehand.
Yeah.
And have Lawler versus Cena for the title. And it really would have been one of those generational transition moments.
Right. And really, the generational transition moment happens 2 years later at 29.
Right.
Which I'm about to start. I would imagine I'll probably start it as soon as we get off the air.
Okay.
Well, I might watch NXT and then start it, but it was really so I watched 28 the next day after watching 27 on Saturday.
Okay.
And man, 28 was a lot easier watch.
Yeah.
The main event, the John Cena Rock Once in a Lifetime, which always now makes me chuckle knowing that they fought again the next year, but
right.
It was really such a good match. And the ending, when I watched the end of that, I started thinking about and I know this is going to be kind of a crossover into other sports, but I thought about the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl, and when I thought about John Cena when they had that little round table thing with Cena and The Rock, and when he was finally pressed, he goes, "Because you didn't really beat me."
Right.
And it made me think about the whole, why does the Super Bowl bother me as much as it did, even though the Eagles have won.
Right.
And and say what you want, and I'm sure people will think this is me crying over spilled milk or having sour grapes. But man, because that was the first thing that jumped into my mind when because they didn't really beat us.
Exactly. Yeah.
A stupid freaking holding call. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And it's and again, to tie it back in, it's oh, what better way to beat him than with his own stupid move?
Right. And it tie into another sport. I didn't realize this. It was my first Flyers game in several years. Mm-hmm. Whenever the Flyers score a goal now, they play Becky Lynch's theme music.
That's great.
I'm just wait a minute. After they score, it's whoa. I'm just I've heard this before. Using Becky Lynch's theme music whenever they score a goal.
That's funny. Well, it doesn't happen that often, so you probably don't get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was lucky they scored 3 last night.
Yeah, did they actually win last night?
They lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they lost 5-3. And I have to say,
okay, sorry, I bet against them.
It's 5-3 because
the empty net.
The empty net goal. I hate that.
Although I will say, as a gambler, if you bet the puck line, that empty netter is clutch.
Yeah. If you're betting on hockey games, it's tough, but the empty net does help out.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's why I always love betting the puck line, because I'm really just hoping that it's I can get an empty netter late.
Right, and most times you can.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
So. Yeah, most hockey games are not 1-goal games unless they go to overtime or shootouts.
Yeah, and even that, it's tough sometimes with tying it up late.
Right.
But I mean, if they're down by a goal, they're going to pull the goalie, try to get lucky.
And then you got to hope for that empty netter to cover your spread.
Cover the spread.
It's not whether you win or lose; it's if you cover the spread.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get back into. Let's make that smooth transition back into WWE. Actually, to have a transition, that there's been some talk about legalizing betting on wrestling matches.
It wouldn't be the first country.
No, it wouldn't. And man, I wonder what that would do. Like, WWE would have to become more unpredictable.
The thing is if they follow it in the
Mm-hmm.
in England's method, you can only bet $25
Okay.
max. So that would make it, because let's face it, it is predetermined, and
Mm-hmm.
the right people, they can give you inside information. So these sports books are not going to allow huge bets on wrestling.
No.
No,
Could you imagine if you have inside information, like say, like if you recall in 1990, I believe 6, Stone Cold Steve Austin was supposed to be among the final 4 in the Royal Rumble. Well, he accidentally slips, gets eliminated,
right.
and so he's got to let somebody know before he leaves that, hey, look, I've been eliminated. You imagine if you had insider information, like, hey, this is your final 4, and you just go in and bet, like, you put $1,000 on the final 4 of the Royal Rumble to pay out like 10 grand or something like that.
Yeah, that's not gonna
Ooh.
be allowed.
No.
No.
But like, I could only imagine, like, man, that would offset some people, like people who, like, someone has inside information. It's like, yeah, dude, bet this guy to be in the final 4 of the Royal Rumble.
Right.
It's, believe me, I know somebody. It's a lock, and then you see them slip and get eliminated. Who you'd be crapping your pants.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting, but I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. Besides, very small.
Right? Yeah, the small limits I think is a smart idea. And I guess just kind of a way to kind of tease you into getting into some other markets, like because it's like, hey, I made $25 on the WWE match, so I could just take out that money and take out my $25, or I could take that money and then go bet on college football game on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh crap, and then I lost, and so now I got to chase those winnings, and then that's how you get stuck in the cycle.
The downward spiral.
Yeah. It will be very interesting. I'm curious to see how that goes. Again, I would think WWE would have to become more close-lipped about like what's coming out and what's going to happen. Because I mean, like a lot of times we can read the tea leaves and kind of see like, okay, this makes sense for this guy to go over, and like if you're smart enough to the business, like you probably have a good idea. Like I would think Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Like Cody would have to be the betting favorite.
He would need to be, and I know that they have betting odds, so I'm waiting to hear when they get released.
Yeah, and now I wonder. Like, one of the things I like a lot of like the specials that they run for the pay per views will be things like to use the Cody and Roman match. Like, how many times will Cody use the Crossroads?
Right.
How many pinfalls will be in the match? Like, you can do those little parlays, and those could be fun. Like, because those I feel like are less predictable.
Yeah, and it adds more to it. I think we need parlays.
But like the straight up like Roman Reigns to lose to Cody Rhodes, like the payout can't be that good because again, like it's kind of everybody's kind of smartened up here and knowing like, man, this story writes itself. Cody, the prodigal son,
right?
Does what no Rhodes family member has ever done, wins the WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
Exactly. And I mean, he's gonna be a tremendous favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, just the storyline, the build up. I'm looking forward to Roman coming to Raw next Monday. See
that's going to be interesting.
what they're going to do there. Should be interesting.
Do you think we're finally going to get the setup for the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn tag team? Because that has to happen, right?
To happen. I mean, they're building it up. The Usos have attacked Sammy. They've attacked Kevin. Cody's come to the aid to both of them now.
Right.
So somehow it's going to get linked in, and we're going to get it.
I'd imagine the natural transition would be maybe a 6-man tag, Cody, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus the Usos and Solo, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown.
Right.
And at the end of it, like maybe, during the match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn show great chemistry in their teaming. And maybe, afterwards, Cody kind of says something to the both of them, like, what the hell? Why wouldn't you two just go for the tag straps? Like,
something along those lines. Now, I'm wondering, speaking of WrestleMania, is this going to be Rey Mysterio's retirement?
I really wonder.
The fact that he's going into the Hall of Fame.
And he's headlining it. He's the first guy in. They announced the second person, the Great Muta.
Yes. So,
that's got to be Nakamura inducting him, right? And that can be a great way of reintroducing Nakamura back to everybody.
I don't know, because Flair announced it today on the bump.
Right.
So will they have, because Flair's friends with Muta, will they have Flair do it?
Imagine it'd be up to Great Muta, yeah.
Or will they let Nakamura do it? I mean, the one that would make the most sense to do it on American soil, I don't know if Tony Khan would allow it. I think Sting would be
the perfect choice. Yeah.
I don't know, because Tony Khan did allow Billy Gunn to get into the Hall of Fame when under contract with AEW.
Correct, yeah.
So I'm wondering if for something like that, he might let Sting appear. If Muta.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a show of good faith. I mean, Tony Khan's shown willingness, not only with his work with New Japan, and with Impact, but he has worked with WWE. He let Chris Jericho go on the Broken Skull session.
Right. So there is an opportunity. If Muta really wants that, I think that would be the ideal person. His number one rival in America to induct him. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will. I'm curious as to what held up the Hall of Fame from coming until now.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was just a matter of logistics of working out the Great Muta deal.
I think that was the big thing, working out that deal.
Because to me, like, this has got to be kind of a this for that moment. Like, okay, let you have Nakamura for his match with the Great Muta. Now you got to let us have something.
Right.
And like that would make the most sense. Like they induct Great Muta into the WWE Hall of Fame.
And really, that is the Hall of Fame of pro wrestling. I know, like Dave Miller has the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, and there's other ones, but to me, the gold standard of pro wrestling Hall of Fames is the WWE.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean,
look, they're the biggest company, and they encompass more than anybody else.
Right. And they put in more.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that now you have Inoki, you have Fujinami, now you're putting Muta in, really gives credibility to the Japanese promotions.
It gives credibility to WWE. Just their Hall of Fame is not just about them.
Exactly. I mean, I loved when they did the Legacy Wing. I hope they bring it back this year because they have been doing it. Because there's some names that they can drop in there. One that I felt really bad for was Ray Stevens.
Yeah,
they were doing the WrestleMania in San Fran. How much of a legend he was in that territory. They should have put him in that, I think.
Yeah, that would have been the appropriate thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one name that I really think ought to be inducted in the legacy wing: Nancy Benoit.
She does deserve to go in. As
You
woman.
can do it that way. You don't have to go around the whole fiasco and the whole tragedy that went down with her death.
Yep.
Um, and then, like anybody who sits there and says, "Well, what about Nancy Benoit for the Hall of Fame? She deserves it." Well, now she's in there.
Now she's in there, and you do the little blob, and boom.
Yeah.
Like Barbara Goodish, Bruce Brody's wife, didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know he was getting inducted until like the day or two before, because they lumped Brody in the legacy wing class. So
Mm-hmm.
easily could just tell like Nancy's family, we're doing it in the legacy class to avoid the controversy.
And I would think they'd understand that.
Right. And I really, really hope, because they're going to do the Warrior Award, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one name that deserves it more than anyone right now, and I don't know if he's even going to be here for WrestleMania weekend, and he's not going to be able to travel, but maybe send his wife out, would be Steve McMichael.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic choice for the Warrior Award.
Yeah.
And maybe you could, like, it'd be great if they could get some kind of like video thing from him ahead of time.
Yeah. I was reading online. I don't even know if he's able to talk now.
Oh, geez.
That's how bad his ALS has gotten. It's unfortunate. He's paralyzed from the waist down, and it would be, I think, a class gesture for them.
Yeah.
To do it now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that would be really a great gesture on their part to induct him as the Warrior Award recipient.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, look, his in-ring work was top-notch too. I have never seen. I mean, obviously, Wahoo and why am I blanking on the other ones?
Ernie Ladd.
Ernie Ladd was the other one I was thinking of. Like, obviously, like they transitioned from football to wrestler, but man, was there anybody that was a bigger star in football and then came into the into WCW or any professional wrestling and had a bigger impact in such a short amount of time as Steve McMichael?
I don't think so. I mean, because he got roped right into the Horseman angle,
right?
Which a lot of people said, "Oh, he probably shouldn't be," but I think he did really well in the Horseman.
He really took that seriously. He took working in the ring seriously. Like you could just tell, like right off the bat, like he has a feud with Joe Gomez early on in his run there,
Right.
And then just starts working with Benoit in tag matches.
Yeah.
And, wow, like what a phenomenal worker he was, and really took the business seriously.
He did. Because remember, he started as the commentary tape,
right?
Nitro, and then just morphed into it.
Yeah, the whole Ric Flair, Ric Flair, and then Bobby Heenan, making fun of Steve McMichael, basically trying to get with his wife, and
right.
And boy, did that talk about art imitating life.
Mm-hmm.
Then they separate. She marries Steve Austin.
Yeah.
What a crazy life Steve McMichaels has lived. And I do genuinely feel for the guy. Like, I mean, I don't know how anybody couldn't, but
yeah. I mean, he's dealt a horrible hand. He's doing what he can. They've done viewing parties of movies for him in Iowa to raise money. So,
yeah, it's very tragic. So yeah, like a lot of concern that he wouldn't be there for WrestleMania. Like you said, obviously he couldn't travel,
right? But
you could, yeah, if if you really felt like he wouldn't go in the 24 to 32 hours or whatever it would be, you could have her fly to and be a part of the ceremony
Yeah.
in Los Angeles.
Or, I mean, they're doing it right after SmackDown. They could do a video package.
They could. They could. I think that would probably be the most appropriate thing.
Or, honestly, his Chicago Bear teammates have come to visit. Flair has come to visit. One thing they could do is rope them together. They're both in the Hall of Fame. Have Refrigerator Perry and Ric Flair except for him.
That would actually be a beautiful thing. They could stand up there and talk about McMichael and, what his whole story has meant to them.
Yeah, and that way you get both his pro football and his pro wrestling career. That might be something to do.
Yeah, that would be nice. I wonder, like, this class, obviously not going to be the size of a normal class because, we just don't have enough time to, like, and especially the way they're announcing like, I expected, like, it to be rapid fire once they started, like, when they did announce Ray as the first inductee.
Right.
Like, I figured, okay, this means we're going to have rapid fire, like, Raw, we would have another Hall of Famer announced, and then SmackDown another.
Right. And they've been doing a very, very strategic formula recently. It's been a headliner, it's been one other single star, then it's been a female, a tag team, someone who's passed, and then the Warrior Award and the Legacy. So it's going to be interesting to see. Hogan may have let the cat out of the bag a little bit with his one video. Rumor that it might be Jacques and Raymond Rougeau as the tag team.
The Rougeaus, that'd be a good choice. Yeah.
I mean, that would be a decent choice. Who else?
I mean, I guess is Mysterio considered the local connection? Los Angeles, San Diego.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting next year for the local connection who they dig up.
Probably somebody from ECW's past.
I was going to say, it's got to be someone with an extreme background.
Yeah. Maybe Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, maybe Paul Heyman.
You know who else? It wouldn't surprise me because they've been doing a lot of olive branch extensions.
I think Shane Douglas would be a wonderful addition to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He does not get credit, and I know we talked about this some last week, but he does not get enough credit for being the innovator that he was.
No, he doesn't. So I think he would be a very good choice for that place.
Agreed. Douglas would be a wonderful choice next year. I really would love to see that.
Yeah.
But let's go back to this year. So we definitely think the tag title match has to be announced this week. Maybe Ray and Dominic. This has to get going here. They have to do something with this because Dominic finally teased it and challenged him to a match on Monday night.
And it just was like, back off. We got to have it.
Like, I feel like, okay, words clearly are not enough because he can shake them off.
Right.
I wonder if he physically attacks Ray.
I think if the Judgment Day attack Ray, then we're going to get it finally.
It would be, this would be, I mean, it would be good, but it would be bad too. Like, the whole thing, Ray won't fight his own child, but maybe if his child had his other child in peril, what if we did like they've done these offsite like shoots where they video the holiday events. Well, in watching 26 over, I know Aaliyah's birthday is billed as being somewhere around WrestleMania.
Right.
What if Dominic crashed a birthday party for Aaliyah?
What happens if Dominic and Rhea crashed the birthday party and took her?
Whew. We'll
Would,
only release her if you agree to a match.
right. Would they do that with their sponsors and all? That's the other thing.
I mean, that would have to be something that would have to be cleared, I would think, with sponsors.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because she's not a competitor in WWE.
Right. I mean, we've seen her enough to know,
Yes,
but she's not a competitor, so it's not really. It would be something different.
it would, man. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, do something like that.
So I could see that being the way we get to that match.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that might be when Dominic does the whole, oh yeah, and your career's going to be on the line.
I don't know. Is there something going on with your microphone?
I keep hearing some kind of feedback too. It almost sounds like
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Huh.
That was weird. Oh,
Yeah.
And there it goes again.
I'm still hearing it. That's weird.
I'm getting a delayed reaction on mine.
Yeah, it's getting really hectic.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden,
maybe that's the time we need to wrap it up for tonight. I know we've only done about a half hour. Okay. Wow. And so that was, I guess it was, that was fun. All right. Let's see if I can take this off. Of course, without both of us there, it kind of looks silly. So I guess I'm going to just go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. Anybody who comments later, I'll just thank you in advance. Man, that was really weird. I don't know what happened. If I'm getting any kind of feedback, anybody watching, I would certainly love to hear about any feedback that you might hear, or if it's just on our end. So, don't know what happened. Not sure if Mike's going to try to come back in, but I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and happy wrestling, everybody.